Hey guys, welcome back. So now today I'm going to show you how to mount your motors. Okay, so I would definitely take a look at your plans and find out where you planned on mounting your motors. So I see two motors, and me just knowing from experience is that I wouldn't be able to fit these two motors here. Okay, if I look closer at my top view, I see that I have one on the passenger side and one on the driver's side. So this one is powering my winch and this one is powering my rear wheel. Okay, so if I look closely here, I'm going to have one motor here powering my winch and then one motor here powering my rear wheels. Okay, so what you're going to need for this is two motors. Okay, they have magnets in them, so they kind of stick together. You're gonna need 4 screws, which they tend to all stick together as well. Okay, so 4 screws, and then 2 motor clamps. Okay, these are actually 3/4 inch electrical conduit clamps, but they work perfect for these. Okay, so they just kind of snap right on there. But if you were to just look here, the clamps are smaller than the motors, and so you don't want to squeeze it down too much because you can actually crush the motor and the internals won't be able to spin inside. But we're going to get to that in a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the winch motor. Okay, so you have a guide of where your motors were, but one thing we didn't do was decide what rubber bands we're going to use, and we have 3 different types of rubber bands. So these are my favorite, the 1/4 inch by 3 inch or number 64s. They're great. Okay, they're thick, they have a long life, they got good surface area, they work really well. So if you can use these without overstretching them, use them. My next favorite are these number 117s. Okay, so these right here, these are 6 inch by 1/8 inch rubber bands. These are great for winch wheels. Okay, and they're a nice rubber band. And then lastly, these will do the job, but they're kind of like my least favorite. These are the number 33s, same size as the number 64s, but just thinner. Okay, so first choice, kind of like first choice also, but second choice and then third choice. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can fit a number 64 on this. So I'm going to take this, put it around my winch, and then I'm going to put it around the pulley of the motor, and we're going to see here. So this is awfully tight. Okay, and this is a tough call. Okay, I'm feeling the tension on this, and I'm thinking that there is a good chance that I'm going to stress out this rubber band and also cause too much friction on this side of the axle. So I don't think this will be a good choice. Okay, I could also call an audible and say, well, is there another place I could mount this motor? Okay, and I could try to say, well, can I fit it on the front of my car here? And you know what? It feels a little bit better, but I definitely can't bend the clamp around that corner. But I don't think it's worth it, and I also don't like the way it looks, so I'm gonna try the 117. Okay guys, don't shoot rubber bands. You're gonna get an automatic detention, 10 points off your grade. Okay, so here's a 117. Try to not get them to twist. They just tend to track a little bit better. So this one, I can definitely see that I can put this one, you know, way back here. It's actually, I don't think I have enough tension right there, so I'm going to bring it back a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rubber band off, hold that clamp there, and make a dot in the middle of the clamp, and then carefully roll it. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can pre-drill and attach just that side of the clamp and then do this on the other later. Okay, so just I roll them, I got them in the middle. Okay, so you're gonna want to try to get it in the middle of the ply, you know what I mean, like in the middle of this ply. So I found in the past, I would go right to an 1/8 inch drill bit and pre-drill for these screws, but I found that the drill bit actually wanders like significantly, and your motor can get crooked. So we're actually going to pre-drill with the nail first. So I'm going to get right in the middle of that ply. Okay, same thing here. Get right there. Now I'm going to switch over to an 1/8 inch drill bit. These are going to be located on the fence of the table saw. What is the fence of the table saw? Right here. Okay, I'm going to keep all the, you know, special drill bits and Phillips head bits and so forth on the fence of the table saw. Okay, that way they don't get lost. So I'm going to take out this pre-drill nail, open the chuck, and chuck this up. And then I'm going to pre-drill right here. These are only 3/4 inch screws, so I don't have to go too deep. Okay, full speed. Okay. I grabbed the impact driver. We don't want to use that. So I'll just go through the motions here. Take this out. Reverse switch. Open the jaws. Phillips head bit. Okay, for a Phillips head screwdriver, it's got 4 sides to it, as opposed to a flathead screw. Okay, I recommend you go on the slow setting for this so that you have really good trigger control. Okay, if you go like this, some of you don't have good trigger control and you'll wind up stripping the head of the screw or screwing it down too much, or at worst, stripping the hole. So this screw is an inclined plane wrapped around a cylinder. So as it spins, it actually drives itself down, and it then, once the head bottoms out onto whatever it's clamping, it will add clamping force. That's how a screw works. It's fantastic. Okay, but if this were to bottom out and I kept on turning it, these threads are going to just cut a cylindrical hole like a drill bit, and then the hole's going to be stripped and the screw won't hold. So just be careful. So here I'm going to start off on one side like I always do. Okay, I like to hold the screw like this. I don't know if you can see that, so it doesn't drop. And then I'm just going to get it right there. Get it started ever so slightly. Okay, so I'm on one setting, slow speed, and I'm just going to put down. Okay, sometimes you may find that it helps if you push down on here like this. This is what you don't want to hear. I'm going to put out very little pressure, okay, and then you don't want to do this. That means you're not putting down enough down pressure, okay? So you want to put some down pressure on it. Before I seat it, because don't forget, the clamp is smaller than the motor, I'm going to do the other side. Okay, and a little bit more. Okay, not too tight yet, okay? I want to be able to slide the motor in and out. So here I need to take this rubber band out, so I'll just get a nail. And I'll just go underneath it, pull the rubber band out, put it around the pulley of the motor, and then you want to look straight down it, and you want to get the pulley to be in line with the groove of your wheel. You want these two to be in line. If it was like this, okay, what's going to happen, you can see the rubber band is trying to pull off of the wheel. All right, so you need to actually like really be aware of that. So that looks good. I'm going to tighten it up. And turn it again. Just like this. If you torque these down too much, you'll crush this motor and you'll hear a grating sound because you're crushing the internals of the motor. So this one's good. All right, I'll do the other side for my rear wheels. Okay, so same thing. Let's see if I can use a number 64. That would be fantastic. So let me get this over here. and I'll go directly above it. I think I'm just gonna make it. So I could tell that I'm gonna have an issue with getting the drill in here because of my tall wall, so I'll need to get an extension for the Phillips head bit. Okay, I could also, again, call an audible and just do this. Look at that. That may be better. I kind of like that better. I am going to have a hole here for my winch. I don't want my opponents to mess up with my motor. So if I do pull them, I don't want them to like damage my wires or my motor. So I'm actually thinking I may go back up here. If you do decide to do that, watch out that you don't put a screw where there's a nail. Okay, you may have to come down and find a sweet spot. Okay, so I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to get it pretty close right there, kind of in line with the center of the axle. I'm just going to mark one side. Okay, so there's my dot. I have to get a nail. Go back to high speed for the small nail. Line it up. Let me double check. I got two dots there. Okay, it is the one. Make that dot a little bit better. There we go. Okay, pre-drill. Get my 1/8 inch drill bit. Get my Phillips head bit. And get my screw. That's good. You'll be able to see how to do it 2 different ways. Okay, and I get my screw. This one's under tension. Actually, I could take this off. Okay, so I'm going to leave myself a little bit of room so I could mark where this one's going to go. So we're going to go right there. Okay, get it, swing it out of the way. I want it right there. And just a little dimple, just to help that 1/8 inch drill bit find that. Again, this is going to be tricky. Okay, I don't have an extension for the 1/8 inch drill bit, so I'm going to just have to go at a little bit of an angle. But I do need a Phillips head bit extension, so let me just, hopefully there's one on the table saw. I wasn't expecting that. And I do not have one, but they are right here. Okay, so I got 2 connected. That'll give me plenty of clearance for this. So let's do this. Okay, here we go. Set the depth. So I'm going to look straight down, push that motor in just a little bit. That's good. Okay, and I'll tighten these up. Make sure it's still spinning. Okay, cool. All right, so before we wire, okay, we are you might, if you wanted to, you could just test your motors out. So I got a power supply here. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to make sure that I'm at I've got a coarse adjustment and a fine adjustment, so I'll make sure I'm at 12 volts. Okay, 12.3 is good, 12.2, 12.1. Make sure the current is maxed out, even though it says 0. Turn them both clockwise. Okay, and then you can take these. Again, just don't do this too much. That's not good, okay? And then you can just test it. So I'm just gonna put an alligator clip on one and then just touch the other. Let's see if it spins. All right, that sounds good. Okay, let me see the other side. Get ready for the car to move when you do this. Whoa, she wants to go. Okay, so that's good. I'll lift it up. Sounds good. It's operating well. Rubber bands are tracking. Okay, guys, that was mounting your motors. The next video is going to be how to do your wiring. Okay, thanks for watching. Okay, welcome to the next video. So today I'm going to show you guys how to wire your motors. Okay, so each motor needs 2 wires. At the back of each motor there are 2 terminals. About like 10 years ago they used to label these terminals positive and negative, but as they changed where they were manufactured, they eventually just didn't label them, and it was a little bit of trial and error. So the positive and negative, which way the current goes through, whether the current's going through the positive or the negative terminal, is going to dictate which direction the motor spins when you want to go forward. So I'm going to explain that a little bit more. We could just do it by testing it, and then we could label our motors. But for all intents and purposes, red wire, black wire is not going to really dictate which direction your motor goes. It's going to be which alligator clip you connect. We'll get into that. So you're going to have a set of alligator clips. They're going to be attaching to 2 nails on the back of your car. 2 for one motor and 2 for another motor, which will give you a total of 4 nails. So you're going to have 2 sets of these coming to your car to control your 2 motors. You need to plan where you're going to put your wiring nails. You definitely don't want them in the front of your car because you're going to be running over your wires, and that will be bad. You don't want them hanging over your motors because the cables will get tangled up in your rubber bands. So, you know, in hindsight, I kind of, you know, I didn't plan accordingly for where I'm going to put these, but what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 nails coming off to the side right here, and then 2 nails right over here, and then that way I can have my my 4 alligator clips kind of coming right over here. It's not ideal because I'm going to be having my winch string coming out of here, but I think it'll be okay. You know, you could always add something. I could always add a wiring wood here. I could maybe, like, you know, put a roof over here where I could then put my wiring nails up here, which would be pretty cool. For this video, I'm just going to do them off to the side. We've done this before. So the nails we're going to use are in the wiring box, okay? And they are these 6D common nails. So we're going to need 4 of them. And they're nice and big. And they've got a framing head so that the alligator clips, when they attach on, it's a good connection, okay? It does allow for a little bit of, you know, somebody could pull those wires off. So it does add a little bit of, you know, maybe someone's strategy is to pull your wires off, but they tend to hold on really well. I mean, I'm pulling on this, and it's good. So, all right, so I'm going to put 1 nail here, and I'm going to put another nail down over here. Okay, one thing you definitely don't want is, if in this situation, you don't want the nails touching, or else they'll create a short circuit. Okay, and you don't want the nails too close together, because then the alligator clips, if they were too close together, they could touch like this if the nails were too close together. So you have to plan where you want to put them. So I'm going to put one right over here, and I'm going to put one right over here. So I'll mark that. Okay, so I think I'm going to do one right here, and I'll do another one right here. I think that should be good. Okay, and I'll do the same thing. I'll do another one, just the same distance in. Okay, maybe a little bit farther in, like that. And then the other one I'll put right over here. I could measure that, make it symmetrical, but I am not going to. So take the 1/8 inch drill bit, and I'm going to pre-drill just a little bit, like 3/8 of an inch, okay? 1/2 inch, 3/8 of an inch, not much. Okay, I'll do it again here. Okay, you could see how that drill bit wandered. I didn't pre-drill with the nail. It's not a problem, but if you wanted to get them exactly the same, pre-drill with the nail. I'll do this one here too. And then I'll do this one. Okay. All right. Important tip. When you're nailing your nails onto your car, you need to support it with scrap wood, or else you risk breaking your axles when you're hammering down. So I'm going to put this nail right in here, and I'm going to get my hammer. I'm going to nail it down just like that, okay? Maybe a little bit more. So you really don't need the pre-drill to go in too deep. If you do, it's bad. Okay, maybe a little more. That seems good. And then for this one, let's see if I could support my car with some scrap wood. Let's see, there we go. And I think that's pretty good. To the other side. If it's loose, you can always drill another one, you know, and go in very shallow. Okay, it's actually pretty good. Okay, they feel good. So now it's time for wiring. So we're going to be using this 22 gauge solid strand copper wire. Each motor is going to get one length of red wire and one length of black wire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start planning for this. So I'm going to do from here to here. You want about, I'm going to say about like 3/8 of an inch past the tab here, and at least an inch past the nail. Hold it with your finger, and then take the wire cutters and cut it. So these are the wire cutters we're going to be using. They have indicators here for the thickness of the wire and how to strip the insulation off. So I'm gonna take off just a little bit of insulation. I found that the 26 gauge side worked well, so I'll just do about, again, 3/8 of an inch. Just pull the insulation right off. So these jaws just cut around the insulation, but they don't cut the wire. Okay, and I'm gonna go like this, bend it, and then give it a good twist. Okay, you can even use the serrated jaws on the wire strippers to make a nice connection. Okay, so now I like the wires to have not too tight because you're going to break the motor tabs, but to have a little bit, you hear that? To have a little bit of tension. So I'm going to strip all of this insulation away. I don't want any insulation touching the nail. Okay, so I'm just going to pinch that. This is actually a lot of insulation to remove. So I'm going to go on the 26 side, right there, squeeze, just gently pull it right off. And then I'm going to wrap this around this nail. This will give me a good contact, good surface area. And here's a little trick. Okay, if it's loose, you know, if you have a loose connection, it's gonna bounce around and you're gonna lose contact. Take the jaws and twist the wire around a little bit around the nail. It's gonna get it nice and tight. So that's good. I'll do the black. Okay, take some black wire, do the same thing. Okay, so here I'm gonna come all the way past, go a little bit past here. Right there I think is plenty. Cut it. Take off 3/8 from the motor side. Okay, you can wrap it up real nice so it's just a good solid connection. Match it to your nail. We're going to take off a little bit before that. So 26 right there. Maybe I'll go lower. And then I can wrap this one. I'll go clockwise. Uh-oh. Okay, so that just broke right there. I could just replace it. I think I got enough. Okay, interesting. So I will just twist this up. It's a little bit loose still, so I'm gonna just keep on twisting. There we go. Getting a little better. It's a little bit loose. Trust me, if it's loose, your car is not going to drive well. There we go. That's good. Okay, so that's good. I'll do one more, okay? And I'm going to pause the video, and so you don't have to watch me do the other one. It's going to be the same thing. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I finished wiring the two motors with my four nails and 4 wires. Okay, my wires feel pretty tight. This one actually could be a little bit tighter. Let me tighten that up. Oh, that's better. Much better. Okay, cool. Tight, tight. Okay, tight. This one's good. All right, so let's bring this. Oh, I forgot to put this this piece of wood on here. Okay, so what I'm going to do temporarily is just put a piece of tape on here. Okay, you can totally do that. Just have to be careful. So I'll start it. I'll take this rubber band off here and there we go. And that'll lock it in. It's a little sloppy, you know, I like a piece of wood on there better, all right? But just for this testing, that'll be good. All right, so let's bring it to the track and figure out how this is actually gonna work. So, I'm gonna be in this rectangle, okay? And then if I trace back these wires here, motor number 1, right here, it's labeled. Motor number 1 should always be your drive motor, okay? So my drive motor is this motor here. So I'm gonna go start off red to red. So red alligator clip right on the wires. I like to do a alligator clip to wire connection as opposed to alligator clip to nail. I just think it gives you more of a chance of a good connection. And then black to black, okay? So this is good. You can even go like that if you want. Okay, and now let's see if it actually drives forward. So I'm going to go on the controls. I got a motor 1 here. By the way, the power supply is on. Okay, I'm at 12 volts. Current's maxed out. So I'll do motor 1 up. Okay, so up should be forward. Center is off, and down is reverse. Let me go up. All right. So I went backwards. So what that means is that I have to reverse the polarity. So I'm just gonna take this and put black to red, red to black, and let's see if it drives forward now when I go up. Because when you drive forward, you want to do the switch up. All right, center off, and then backwards down. Okay, very cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to label this. Okay, so I'm going to label that this black wire is actually going to be the red alligator clip. Okay, so that's easy. And for the winches, you can just leave them color coded, because when we go to attach the string, all it changes is whether the string is going to be wrapping around the axle from underneath or from on top, and that doesn't make a difference. So either it's spooling from underneath the axle or it's spooling from on top. So when it's time to race, you're going to have your partner or a friend hold your cables behind your car, okay, and then you'll be able to just drive. So let's see how this winch works. Okay, so motor number 2 up, make sure it works. All right. So I didn't put the rope on it yet, but we would say 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, and it hits that wall with authority. Goes in reverse. You can see I'm riding over my own cables, so you have to be careful. Okay, and then now I'm a little bit stuck. Okay, so this is why the cables, there we go. There's a little bit of driving skill. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. That's how you wire up your motors. Okay, and thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in class.